Hello, Happy New Year. I just wanted to come on here and make this video today because a few weeks ago I was driving home from a basketball game that I was playing in. I joined a queer league earlier this year, and while on an endorphin high driving home, I had this realization that while I was thinking about community and just a few things that I've recently added to my life that have really impacted me in such a positive way. And maybe this video will inspire you to make similar changes. And the common denominator, I was thinking about these things that I've compiled in this list, which I will share, is that I never regret doing these things. They always leave me feeling so much happier afterwards. And yeah, I just wanted to share them. So I hope you enjoy. I've been thinking a lot about what it actually means to belong to a community. We often hear that saying, everyone wants a village, but no one wants to be a villager. As I mentioned earlier, I joined a queer basketball league this past fall. And while they do keep score, it's mostly meant to create community, meet new people, and get some exercise. In the first season, my team only had 2 wins, so we actually came in last place. But I can guarantee not one of us really cared because we were simply stoked on the fact that our vibes were always immaculate, and we just loved cheering each other on. Usually, by the time the game is over, our red, sweaty faces are usually smiling ear to ear, high-fiving each other, and letting one another know how awesome that basket was. A great job on defense. I've noticed even on the days where I feel the most tired and wanting to hermit, I give myself the permission to go to some games and think to myself, I might not be as chatty today, I'm not up for it, and so on, and that's definitely okay. But I find naturally, while I'm on the bench, I'm loudly cheering on my teammates, clapping, smiling, and laughing, completely forgetting the allowance I gave myself earlier if I was feeling tired and reclusive that day. I hadn't participated in any team sports for more than 20 years. Joining this basketball team has genuinely taught me so much about learning and observing how other people work and working through the hardship of loss. There have been games where we've lost by 20 or 30 points, and games where I couldn't make a single basket. The feeling of being embarrassed and wanting to check out, but needing to fight through that discomfort has taught me valuable lessons about myself. Losing and still having 8 other people stoked that you even showed up and stuck together has been immensely valuable for me. Right now, we're in the dead of winter where it's cold and often rainy. My typical evening routine by 8 p.m. is chilling on the couch watching a show before bed. That one night a week where I have to drag myself to a game has always been a net positive. I've never once regretted going to a game, even if it took a lot of mental capacity to get there in the first place. Alright, number 2 on my list, the library. I used to be a Kindle devotee. I liked the compact nature of it and the fact that you could get instant gratification from buying a book on Amazon and having it sent to your Kindle all within 30 seconds. Eventually, my Kindle got very old and died, so it's sitting on a shelf collecting dust. Reading on my iPad was too easy to scroll Pinterest or watch YouTube instead, so over time, I found myself moving back to reading physical books. Libraries are a sacred community space that are free and accessible for everyone. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love supporting small, independent bookstores, but in libraries, at least in Canada, authors get paid through a public lending rights program, meaning they get a sum of money every year based on how many of their books are available in libraries. So by supporting libraries, you're still supporting the authors directly too. Libraries take away the sunk cost fallacy of forcing yourself to finish a book that you purchased and don't end up liking. Many times, I've purchased a copy of a book only to realize I hate it, but it's too late or I'm too lazy to return it, and the book ends up sitting on my shelf haunting me and causing me to feel guilt until I read it. Libraries take away all of that financial burden. In a world where we see book talkers and influencers with shelves overflowing with books worth thousands of dollars, reading becomes an aesthetic curated like trophies on a shelf. Libraries remind us that it's okay to not own every object we enjoy. We can share it with other people who will also enjoy it, without the overconsumption making us feel like our bookshelves aren't aesthetic enough. Number 3, joining an in-person book club. Back in October, a group of 3 other friends and I created our first ever book club. So far, we've read 2 books and have met in person 4 times. We've met at each other's houses or in a coffee shop, and it's been such a fun way to get together not only to chat about the book, but regularly keep up with each other's lives. It's been great to set aside a date for me to see these friends specifically, but also to hold me accountable to the book I'm reading. You know that feeling when you're binging a series and you have no one else to talk to about it? Like you tell your friends to watch the show and they're like, yeah, yeah. Well, being in a book club is like that, but you have people who are also reading the book and you can text each other live updates, and it really creates build up and excitement before the next in-person meeting. It's also really fun to dissect a book with others, to see what meanings they drew from the writing, and add that to your own ideas and takeaways of the story. Alright, number 4, visiting my 95-year-old great-grandpa all the time. My great-grandpa is 95 years old. As expected, he's been experiencing some minor health issues, but most of all, he's extremely freaking old. His eyesight is really bad, and so is his balance. He still has his memory, which is amazing, but he lives in independent living, so he still needs to be able to do some things on his own. I'm super lucky that he lives really close, so thankfully I can visit him on an almost daily basis. Spending time with the elderly people in your life really gets me thinking about how much life is left to live, or how much could be lived, if we take care of ourselves, our body and mind included. Where we are born, our family dynamics, etc. are completely random and beyond our choice as infants. We didn't ask to be here, but why do we feel so damn entitled all the time? My great-grandpa is 95 years old. I'm 29. That means when he was 87, he was already 3 times the age I am right now. It's so incredible to think about how much life he has lived. I still have 2 other sets of my whole life ahead of me. For a long time, and sometimes still presently, I find myself rushing when I'm with him, almost like he's just a task I need to check off for the day. And sometimes it really is. People who are caretakers are no joke. I understand that this is definitely going to be the case sometimes, but the reality is I don't have any other dependents. All my other tasks are still going to be there when I'm done with him. When he's gone, I won't remember all the tasks that I needed to do. Nowadays, I'm not perfect, but I remind myself to slow down when I'm with him. Being with someone who's that old, where a lot of people around him have died, sometimes even decades prior, he has nothing he's really working for or living for anymore. He's just living, making the best out of every day, despite his ailments of having lost most of his eyesight and being unable to walk without a walker. When you're that old, doing simple tasks like shaving, brushing your dentures, eating breakfast can take a lot out of you. He still tries to chat with the people in his building and demonstrates kindness by always giving people the time of day, being polite and inquiring about others' lives. He also loves to give chocolates to all the wonderful people who work in his building and makes an effort to treat them well because they genuinely do so much for him too. The reality is that he is incredibly fortunate because most people sadly do not make it to his age. For me, visiting him always teaches me so much about how to always be a kind human, slow down, and be grateful for the things that I definitely take for granted, such as eyesight and a young, able body. If I'm lucky enough to make it to his age, I still have 2 more sets of my life left. What will I remember and what won't I? Back to the villager statement that I've been pondering. I was watching a talk by Dr. Sarah Stein-Lebrano on this very topic. She often references an important problem called social atrophy. As humans rely more heavily on technology, our socializing muscles weaken, causing us to become more susceptible to loneliness, and can even make people feel more paranoid and withdrawn from society. In this talk, she also introduced me to Robert D. Putnam's novel called Bowling Alone. The term social capital essentially means how connected we are as humans, and a healthier social capital, the healthier we are as a society. He talks about how important it is to connect with people from diverse backgrounds to help bridge and bond us. Think of it this way: if we all remain stuck in our own bubbles, what could we possibly learn from each other? Building a village and a sense of community around you may seem daunting, and it's definitely easier to stay at home and be alone. But these recent additions to my life didn't happen all at once. They happened over a period of time that I only just recently realized have helped improve my life immensely. With all of the stress of evil politicians and billionaires running our planet, these things help keep me present and remind me of the simple ways I can show up for myself and others without really spending any money. All it costs is my time, and, well, that feels like a pretty good investment. This was fun to write. See you guys in the next one.